yeah, I used to work for Master P, No Limit Films, long time ago. As usual, give me a second so I can remember the context and the situation surrounding that experience. So, Master P, that was when I had my second movie deal. I was working, okay, this is a big story. This is a big one. So yeah, let me take it back to the beginning. Okay, so this happened in 2000 because I remember specifically how all this shit, this was like, okay, so 1997 until 2000, 2001 were big years for me. Were big years because all this shit happened in this time. So I was working as a maintenance man in Arizona from July, and I'm gonna say 14th, and it's significant because it's my brother's birthday. That it was from July 14th, 96 to July 14th, 1997. I worked there for 1 year exactly at, it was called Bernard Finney Property Management. Then it went to Bernard Allison. I was a maintenance man. I worked there for exactly 1 year. In that 1 year, some things happened, but that's another story. That's another story by itself. As a matter of fact, that was the first, because in 96 is the year that we went to Arizona for the first time out west to make the dream happen. That was the year OJ killed old girl. And that was the year that, yeah, so 97, immediately I got put on, I got a job, blah, 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 working as a bouncer, da, 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 da. Next thing you know, I was a maintenance man. So we went there in early 96, and by the time July came along is when I got that job as a maintenance man. All of us being put together. Yeah, so 96, by the time July came, I got a job as a maintenance man. I was working as security at a nightclub as well. But because of that security job, sometime in July, and I think it was the 14th, but it was in July, I got a job through a friend of mine as a maintenance man. They gave me free rent, free utilities, and free rent, free utilities. Yeah. I had a wife and kid already, so that was a perfect scenario. Even though we, and I say we because it was me and my partner, we wasted our paycheck. We was getting free money and ain't got shit to show for it. Well, he still worked for them. For that whole year, every paycheck went to Rent-A-Center. That's another story. That's another story. Every check went to Rent-A-Center. But I worked there for a whole year to 97. Because 97, I got a phone call from my then manager saying, you quit your job. I got you a gig writing a movie for a music artist through Warner Brothers. And that's the other connection that I have to KRS-One. It was one of his artists. That's another story. So I got stories baked up. That's another story. Okay, so I quit my job, moved to LA. I still live in Arizona. I was just going back and forth. Was getting into that writing assignment, which I don't want to talk about right now. But while I was doing that, getting introduced to that writing assignment, I got a gig working for Master P because my manager at the time worked for Master P. And then at that time, Master P and them was doing all these movies for No Limit Film. So they was happening to be doing a movie when because he told me, he said, you quit your job, you just come stay with me while all this stuff develops, this, that, and the third, because I needed to be in LA because shit was happening. So I had the writing assignment, and then I started working for Master P through my then manager. Okay. So all kind of shit was happening. So I worked for Master. I got the assignment, worked for Master P, and then I get invited because I get a movie deal through one of the friends that helped me shoot the short that we shot in California. That's before I got the call and say you quit the job, come to LA. That was that year I was talking about that I did some shit at this job where I had free rent. But that's another story. Okay, so I got the writing assignment. I'm working for Master P. I get a deal at the same time. It's like $3.5 million to one of the friends that was in the short that we shot for the same project. I wrote a movie for Tupac called, at the time it was called Part-Time Mother. Right now it's called Breaking the Cycle. But at the time it was called Part-Time Mother. So it was a ball player, NBA player, who was interested in investing in some films. Two of the girls that was in my short knew these ball players. They fucked around with them, whatever, and got me this opportunity. So now I got this writing assignment. I'm working for Master P, and I got a $3.5 million movie deal. Right? Something else was happening too. So while working on the movie deal, meeting with some production companies, I find out that one of the cats in the production company that was vying to be the producers on my movie deal was the assistant to Wesley Snipes. This is how I got to go to the Blade premiere. So all this shit is happening so 97, nigga, 97 was the year. It's all coming back. 97 was the year because all four of those things was happening at the same time. And all those four things disappeared at the same fucking time. Let me continue the story. So, again, I got the writing assignment. I'm working for Master P. We worked on the film Foolish. You can go look at the credits. My name is in the credits. We worked on the movie Foolish. The movie was trash. Anyway, so I got the writing assignment. I'm working for Master P. I got a $3.5 million deal, and I get an invite to go to the Blade premiere. How I got the invite to the Blade premiere? What was going down? So we was having a production meeting about who we was gonna hire. I had a meeting with one of the producers from Players Club, Ice Cube movies, The Players Ball. Carl Craig, he just died in the last 6-7 months. I even had a meeting with him. I learned some shit about Players Ball. Fucking with him too. Anyway, so we having a production meeting, and at the end of the production meeting, Freeman, he's one of my Facebook friends, Freeman White. He had a cameo in Blade too. Anyway, Freeman says, so we were setting up the meeting for the next meeting, right? So we were like tomorrow or some shit. And then Freeman was like, yeah, no, I can't do tomorrow, dude. He was like, I got the Blade premiere. And that's all I need. A Blade, what? I already knew about the movie Blade coming out, but he was like, I'm like, the Blade, like Wesley Snipes Blade? He was like, yeah, I'm Wesley's assistant. I said, I had never been to a movie premiere. I was like, can I go? Just like that. And so this is when I learned etiquette in Hollywood, because they didn't know how to respond to me asking that what I thought was a simple question, can I go? They all looked at each other like, and then Freeman was like, yeah, I guess, yeah, sure. Like, that's simple. And just like that, I got an invite to go to the Blade premiere. He said, you have to get yourself there because I'm gonna ride my bike. He talking about his motorcycle. I was like, bet. So just give me info, blah, blah, blah. So he gave me the info. So going back to my manager's house, man, you couldn't tell me nothing. And I told him what happened. He was like, for real? You won't go to? I was like, yeah, man, and blah, blah, blah. So I'm getting dressed up and everything the next day, and then insecurity started hitting me like, damn, man, was he lying to me and shit? And I was telling my manager at the time, man, was he bullshitting me? He was like, I don't think he would bullshit you like that. But that would be fucked up, wouldn't it? I was like, you ain't helping, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm dressed up. I got my shoes that lean to the side on. You know what I'm saying? But everything was nice except my shoes. You know, I was poor. I was a starving artist. They was leaning like a motherfucker. I'll tell you why they was leaning, too, because it was some Hollywood shit I was doing that had the motherfuckers leaning, all the walking I was doing. Anyway, that's another story. Anyway, so I'm getting ready the next day. I'm telling my boy G Sleep about it. The same dude that we got a part on the Parkers together. Telling him, yo, man, he come up, we talking shit. He's like, man, you about to come up. I'm like, man, this is, you know, all this shit happening. He was like, yeah, you know, blah, 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 blah. So how did I get there? I was waiting for a ride, or I think my manager was gonna take me or something. And so I get dropped off. Did I have a pager? Maybe I had a cell phone. I think I had a cell phone, maybe. I had some kind of means of communication. And he drops me off. I'm still nervous because nothing's been solidified. There's no, real ticket. There's no, somebody, hey, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm with that one guy, because I don't even think I remember Freeman's name. I just remember Free Dog or something like that. I'm too excited. That shit is happening. The ropes, everything is, with the premieres, how they block everything. All that shit was happening. We had Man's Chinese Theater. It's the shit. It's going the fuck down. And then Freeman shows up and is on his bike and shit. I'm like, oh shit, it's going down for real. He wasn't bullshit. This shit is really happening. So Freeman, I follow him. Shit about to get blurry because I don't remember from the time. I followed him from outside to, I don't even remember where we went first. I just know we ended up in a private room where Wesley was in the Man's Chinese Theater until it was time for us to go and actually sit in the theater and watch the film. I remember when I first saw Wesley, noticing how small he was, but he was, she was stacked. I remember noticing how people was sucking his dick, man, not literally, but like kissing his ass, and how uncomfortable that shit made me feel. That's how I stood out in Hollywood, because I ain't buying to all that. That's why I never asked for autographs and pictures and shit, because as a comic, I've signed 1,000 autographs. I've done all that, and it makes me feel uncomfortable even then, doing it now. So I put myself in their shoes. They got motherfuckers coming at them all the time. I'm not gonna be that guy, and I never was. So we kicking it. Everybody smoking weed. I'm talking about like Steven Dorff is there with his brother. I'm smoking weed with them, and they passing the joints. Wesley didn't smoke. But Wesley, we made a connection because I was noticing, now I'm getting ahead because this is after we was up. Okay. So I can't tell you how much time it was between the time we sit in this room and then when we go have a seat. Because the people that were together at the thing, so I was a guest of Freeman. So it was me, Freeman, Trey from the Far Side, Bokeem Woodbine, and Kadeem Hardison, who hung out, and Damon Whitaker, Forrest Whitaker's little brother. So all of a sudden we in the theater now, we watching the movie, they cheering, the credits is coming on, people that are in the credits are in the audience, so they cheering about that. Freeman had a cameo. He was the dude that was in the elevator, two dudes behind the girl when she was coming out, and he said some shit or whatever, and the show that it was like free dog. After the movie, gave a standing ovation, and Blade set a precedent for comic book to film movies, and they don't give Blade enough credit. Blade was one of the first, besides Spawn, that set a precedent, because the movie was good for the time that it came out, and they was so hyped. We went to the back room. This is where I made a connection with Wesley, because that's where the ass kissing began, man. It was so, Wesley on purpose changed his opinion mid-opinion to show me some shit, how ass kissy these people were. And like we had he was standing over here and I was standing on the other side of the circle and enjoying the weed being passed. We drinking Cristal, all kinds of, I'm like, God damn, this is dope. But at the same time, I'm paying attention to how these people are treating and kissing Wesley's ass. This shit is sickening. And so I'm looking at Wesley. Wesley has some shades on. And so I'm watching Wesley and everybody's complimenting the movie legitimately. But he was like, yeah, he was, analyzing the performance and how, he was like, da-da-da-da-da-da. And there was this dude next to him. He had a beard. He looked like, what's the Jamaican dude named? Bob Marley and shit. And he was just agreeing with everything Wesley said. It was just noticeably sickening. And I'm watching him, looking at him. And then I noticed Wesley he looked at me, noticing, he was like, you know what I'm talking about? And then he was like, and then he changed his shit up. Mid-sentence was like, yeah, I didn't like that. The dude next to him was like, oh yeah, that was, I didn't like that either, blah, blah, blah. I was like, and he was like, you know what I'm talking about? When he did that shit. And then he switched it again. And then the dude, yeah, you right. Cause you was, I was like, ugh, that shit is so sick. I can't. But that we made a connection at that moment. He gave me the nod like, you a cool motherfucker, like you ain't falling for all this shit going around, that is show business. And so we had a connection like that. So after that situation, we gonna go to the Hollywood athletic party where the party is afterwards. So we ride, I'm a guest, we riding in Wesley's limo to the Hollywood Athletic Club. So me, Kadeem, Trey from the Far Side, and Bokeem, and Damon Whitaker, we all standing out in the foyer area where everybody come out of the theater going. So now it's dark outside, the cameras, the red carpet, the all that shit, the limos out front. This the shit you see on TV that like there, you envying the study, all that shit. I'm with my bent over shoes. I'm standing outside. They taking pictures and shit like I was in the movie. I remember when they opened up the limo for me and shit. So it's 1,000 people over here roped off. It's 1,000 motherfuckers over here roped off. And there's 2,000 motherfuckers across the streets. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm standing there. They taking pictures. Now I remember this is when like Michael Clark Duncan first came out. So they always pegged me as looking like Michael Clark Duncan. That was the running joke. So I think these people thought that I was Michael Clark Duncan. So they on the side, they were like, hey, can we take your picture? I looked around to make sure that they talking to me. I looked back, I was like, yeah, sure. I'm posing this shit. Like I'm somebody. I know when they got home, I was like, who the fuck is this? Who's this nigga? Oh man. So we get in the limo, right? We get in the limo and we drop off. Who do we drop off? We dropped off Trey from the Forest. No, we dropped off Kadeem Hardison. He was the only one that didn't hang with us. So we all get in the limo, we drop Kadeem off, and then we go to Bokeem's house. Bokeem, now if you don't know who Bokeem is, he been in the latest superhero movies. He played, he's the bald black dude that was in the, when Michael Keaton was playing Condor. He was in, he been in a lot, he was in Fargo, he was one of the characters in Fargo, that TV series. He been in a lot of shit that if you, like, oh yeah, I know who dude is. Bokeem Woodbine, Google him. So we go to Bokeem's house, right? So again, I'm new to this whole Hollywood scene. I'm a kid in the candy store. I couldn't have been no more than 22, 23 years old. I'm in the fucking mix. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all what I was. So 1918. I was 24, 25 years old. Young, vibrant, full of life. Shit is happening, yo. So so the limo takes us to Bokeem's house. Right, we get out. The people that go to Bokeem's house, we might have dropped Trey off too from the far side. We might have dropped him off too. Because the only people that was at the house, at Bokeem's house, was me and Damon Whitaker in Bokeem. So when we first walk in Bokeem's house, his apartment, you could see a table in the distance, and there was a mountain of something on that table. I couldn't make out what it was until we got a little closer. And it was a mountain of weed. This nigga had a mountain of weed just sitting on the table like it was waiting for us. They roll. I'm sure they rolling a joint or something. I'm enamored. I look outside like, damn, we at Bokeem Little House. Damn, that's Forrest Whitaker's little brother. Look just like Forrest. He just got both his shit is working. I'm like, damn, this shit is crazy. I'm looking outside. The limo is parked in the middle of the street, just sitting out there. And this is how they knew I was a virgin in Hollywood. I was like, yo, y'all want me to go outside and tell that driver to go or something? Yo, because he's just sitting out there. They looked at each other like, this nigga, and laughing like, yo. Bokeem was like, that nigga stay there all night if he wanted to. He'd have been paid already. This is his job. I was like, for real? Okay, then, fuck it. So in his bathroom, there was a sound, a squeaky sound. And I told y'all I was a maintenance man before I got to Hollywood. And so I was like, yo, man, I can stop that from leaking, man. I can fix that. He's like, nah, man, you fuck around, fix that. I won't be able to sleep at night. So he laughed. And we waited there for a few minutes. I can't remember what went down in regards to the conversation or whatever. And the limousine took us to the Hollywood Athletic Club where the after party was. That's where when we first got out the limo, that's where we met Stan Lee, the executive producer and creator of Blade. He was there. It was the first time I seen another celebrity fawn over another celebrity. And so we get out the car and Bokeem starts flipping out like, yo, son, that's Stan Lee. And I'm looking at Stan Lee. I'm like, yeah, that is Stan Lee. Hey, Spidey fans, and I'm looking at Bokeem like, but nigga, you Bokeem. And I was like, but nigga, you famous too. He's like, but yo, son, that's Stan Lee. And I looked again, I was like, yo, you right, that is not Stan Lee, damn. Like, damn, that shit crazy. Like, it reminded me where the fuck I was. Like, this shit is surreal. So we go in the club. I think he hollered at Stan Lee for a second. We go in the club. I'm talking Don Cheadle was there. The kids from Home Improvement. I was making fun. I was like, this nigga too, he ain't supposed to be here. All these niggas in the building, this white boy in here drinking. I'm like, I'm telling. Because I'm thinking of him as the little boy at Home Improvement. I'm like, how let me see your ID. You know what I'm saying? I met Marlon Wayans, Onyx. They was there. Fred Joe Star was there. I got hit on by a famous actress. She died, rest in peace. Michelle Thomas. She used to date Malcolm Jamal Warner. That girl's so beautiful, so fucking fine. So she was at the party. And I'm looking around like, wow, this shit is dope. And Damon knew her. And so I see her, she see me, and we smile at each other. I'm like, damn. And she sees that I'm with Damon. So she knows, so she said, hey, Damon, how you doing? They see each other, like, hey, and I'm standing there like, damn, you know her. And so she looks at me right after the hug, like, and then nods at Damon, like, who's this? And so Damon said, oh, this is my boy, this is my boy, And she turns to me like, hi, and she's short. She was short, pretty, pearly white teeth. She was like, how you doing? My name's Michelle, And just so welcoming, so friendly. It was, oh my God. And then where else? What else? What else happened? Everything else after that was a blur. I don't even remember how the night ended. Shit. I don't even think I thought about that shit. How did the night end? Damn. I don't remember how the night ended. I don't remember anything after the Michelle thing. I remember kind of talking to Don Cheadle because he was leaning against the wall. He had a leg up on the wall as if he just got a call and didn't get the part or some shit. It didn't look like he was in party mood or party mode at the time. Yeah, so I don't remember anything after meeting Michelle Thomas. Now that I think about it, I don't remember anything. So that happened. So I still got the writing assignment. I worked for Master P. I got the movie deal. Premiere thing has gone and went. That was out of my system, that excitement, that experience. So now I still got the writing gig, I got the Master P gig, and I got the movie deal, right? So working for Master P, so we were shopping around, let's do it in the movie deal. We shopping around it around to find a director. Because we potentially got the money, $3.5 million. It's considered a low budget, but we had that nonetheless. That was huge to us. Now, context, we already shot a short of this said movie that we got the deal from. And that's kind of how we got the deal, because they showed the potential investors the short. We shot it on 16 millimeter. That's another story, because the people that shot it for us, one of them was Todd Bridges from Different Strokes. He played Willis on Different Strokes. Him and his brother JD shot our short for us. We paid him to shoot it. That's another story. Anyway, so we shopping the script around to get certain actors and a director attached to it to make our situation, solidify it and make it stronger, and to maybe attract more money to the budget. So we get the script of LeVar Burton. He's looking for a script or a project, his first project to direct. He's looking for his first feature to direct. So we get the script to him. He sends us the script back, I think that day, and rejects it. Not because he didn't like the script, because we spelled his name wrong. Yes. And I'm gonna tell you a story later on, not today, how we ran into LeVar Burton again in another situation, and he had envy on his face because of who I was with. But that's another story. Anyway, he turned us down because we spelled his name wrong. So, that was neither here nor there. We still had the 3.5, right? And the potential of this deal. So we sent the script to Keith David. He played the stepfather on There's Something About Mary. That's the one I can always refer to because white people know who the fuck that is. He's rather deep voice, plays the father figure all the time, Keith David. He was at the time doing a movie in Australia. We got the script to him. He said yes, he would do it because the father figure part is what I was looking for to cast. He said yes, he would do it if something he had coming up, he had to do in the States, and it was a potential that it was going to fall through. He said if that situation fell through, then he would commit to doing our project. So we had the potential of a major star being, because I think he had did a Deep Impact already. Or was it Armageddon? Yeah, he was in Armageddon, not Deep Impact. I think Armageddon had happened already. And so when I told you everything fell apart, just like it came together at the same time, everything fell apart damn near at the same time after that premiere. So somebody in my camp with the 3.5 million movie deal got greedy. It was someone that I was given an opportunity to direct that had never directed a feature film. And so I let him co-direct. Another story that I have about this person, his mother was the first black woman on Little House on the Prairie. She was in our short as well. That is a black woman that's on Little House on the Prairie. The first one that's on that show, that's this cat's mama. And she was in a short that I shot. But that's another story. Matter of fact, that story is about the first time I ever got ripped off in Hollywood. So I'll tell that story later. I had to write that down. Anyway, he got greedy and fucked the deal up. So I'm going to tell that part of the story when I talk about how we got ripped off. So I'm going to leave it at that. He got greedy and fucked the deal up. So now I got the writing assignment and I work for Master P. He fucked the deal up. No. That didn't happen first, but he fucked the deal up. I just told that story first. The part where Master P happened first, because it made me think, well, we still got the 3.5 deal and blah, 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 blah. So, but I already told you that part, but that happened. The thing with Master P got fucked up first. So what happened was I got interest from Master P for this movie. And how that happened was I became friends on set while working on Foolish with Master P's uncle, Peanut. I was having lunch with Peanut every chance I get, and he was cool as fuck. We talked, he older cat. And so eventually got into who I am, what I'm here for, and who I, blah, 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 da, and all that. And he was like, man, what's the movie about? So I told him, I got this movie I want to pitch to Master P. I wrote it for Tupac. Tupac died, and him and Tupac was friends. We did it short, blah, 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 and we just looking for some funny doo-doo, blah, 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 right? He said, man, P like that shit, because P was about financing films at that time. He was pulling, he walked around with $1 million in security every day. So he was looking for a project, and I was just a little nervous to talk, I'm just gonna walk up to him, type of shit. He was like, yeah, man, tell him his Uncle Peanut sent you, right? So P, he was there, go right there, go ask him. So he put me on the spot. So I go, there's a bunch of other shit that happened while working for Master P, but this story in particular is what's important right now. So I walk up to him and say, yo, P, and his security was like all up in arms, I just want to ask him a question. He's like, it's okay, yeah, tell us. So I'm like, yo, I've been meeting with your uncle. He said that you probably like my concept of, I'm a filmmaker and blah, 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 this is what we did. And I gave him the rundown. And he was interested. He was like, all right, I'll meet with you. Come have lunch with me tomorrow at so-and-so time. Nick, you talk about how news spread. So what happens when you're working on a movie, before you leave that movie, you trying to make sure you got your next project lined up, right? So by the time this meeting had came, everybody that was friends, all of us that was friends on the movie, all of us up and coming, because everybody is a director, writer, or whatever, doing these other jobs on the set, whether it's catering or driver, whatever. They real job or they dream job is that of something creative in the industry. So you done already put your crew together for your next project, for your next gig at the current gig. So by the time I was gonna meet with Master P, I done already have my crew ready to shoot this movie once we get the funding, right? So everybody geeked up like, damn, this nigga got a meeting with Master P, blah, 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 okay. So the next day come, right? Master P kept his promise. He sent for me. It was like the fucking mob, nigga. This shit was crazy. He sent for me. So I got to back up now for this part of the story. When I first got on set, Master P's set, we was downtown. It was another location or whatever. My mistake was, cause I'm a go-getter, I'm trying to make it happen, and closed mouths don't get fed. So I was on the prowl to find out who was the boss in this bitch, cause I'm gonna be a star. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get on. So, you know, I was looking for who the boss was to make my move, right? What I did wrong was I found out who the boss was, but I made my move too quick. I should have waited a couple days. Because almost immediately, like within an hour of finding out who the boss was, I was on him. What I should have did in retrospect is gave it a couple days. Because when I approached him that first day, it bit me in the ass a few days later. So what happened was, so when Master P sent for me to come have this meeting, the dude that I approached the first day that I got there, the boss, was standing right there. And he had already told me no. So when P said, hey, yo, sit in, boy, don't nobody know me other than my manager who worked for him, you know, and know that he brought me in. So none of these higher ups know me, or none of these people working for Master P know me. They see me as a threat, an outsider trying to come in and get their money, right? So he was like, what you mean we're here for? Right? And he's just in front of people out in the open. What you mean we're here for? So P telling me, yo, my man got an idea, he want to pitch to me, Woosaa, EXPLICIT, this, that, and the third. So dude was like, ain't that what you hired me for? And that was his job. He was the head of production or some shit. That was his job. He was the boss. And so Master P couldn't front him off in front of everybody and be like, hell no, motherfucker, I'm no, you know. He was like, ain't that what you hired me for? This is what I'm talking about, you know, because apparently they'd had a discussion on this before. So he didn't front him off. So he was like, nah, man, you can't be doing, you know, blah, blah, blah. So Master P was like, all right, that's it. Ended the meeting just like that. Shut it the fuck down. And then from that point on, dude wanted me offset, but he couldn't get rid of me because of the relationship my manager had with Master P already. Because my manager was the only person that Master P trusted with his vehicles, his personal vehicles. So because Master P would fly his personal vehicles from New Orleans to LA. And the only person that was allowed to drive them was a few people, and one of them was my manager. So I got to ride in Master P cars and all that shit. That wanted to change colors and all that shit. I rode in that bitch from the hotel to the set. But anyway, when he ended that meeting, it was like a quiet whisper across the set. It hit everybody. It was like you could hear. It was like in the stories when the motherfuckers was killing people in Bethlehem, if they didn't have the blood on the door or whatever, you could hear moaning and shit. It was a moan heard set wide, like a groan, like everybody, because he essentially shut down our next gig. You know what I'm saying? And didn't know what the movie was about, and shut that shit down just like that because of politics. So he tried to get me removed from set. That wasn't happening, and so even when he ended that meeting, I was still like, oh, well, we still got the $3.5 million deal, and we got our short. So I called the co-director, associate friend of mine, to let him know what happened with the bad news. I was like, well, at least we got the short, and we still got this, Oh, so yeah. So I kind of stepped ahead, but I kind of didn't. Part of the deal was fucked up in that the $3.5 million from the ball players wasn't happening no more because dude did something and made it known he had some ill intent. So them ball players was kind of leery because I called some shit out on a phone call. But I don't want to get into that part because it's another story. But he did fuck that 3.5 situation up. But we still had the 16 millimeter short that we shot. So we still had something. We had a sample of that which we can give to a potential investor and show, hey, this is what we can do. If we got more money, we can do it better, right? So I called him, tell him, man, shit has just happened. I forgave him, try to clear that situation up with him fucking up the deal, whatever. I don't want to get into the details of what he did. So on the phone, I'm like, yo, well, at least we still got we got the tape. We got the short. We on the phone, right? He says to me, in one of them sinister voices, he's like, "Nah, I got the tape," which was true. He physically had our tape, because he was supposed to go get telecine done, coloring and all that old shit. I was like, "Yeah, I know you got it." He was like, "Nah, you ain't understanding. It's my tape. It's in my possession. You got to give me $12,000. What? Oh my God. And so that leads into the story about the first time I got ripped off in Hollywood. Yeah, and I know his name to this day. If I see him on site, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. But that was the most hurtful thing that I ever experienced in Hollywood. The first hopeful, because some other shit happened too. But that was the first hurtful thing that happened to me in show business, was somebody that I thought a friend literally stole a piece of property based on the fact that he had it physically. And all these other things that I had set up and had crashed all around us. And he thought trying to extort me for money for this project was gonna work. We never paid him the money. We never got our short back. I paid for everything dealing with this short. I paid for all of it. And my friends volunteered their time. They paid for their own hotel. They paid for their travel to stay in Inglewood for that stay at the hotel at the airport in LA for the whole weekend. All that. They paid for all that. I paid for the production and the food on set and stuff like that. But I had one person fly from Chicago to help out with this. One flew from New Jersey, all on their own dime to help me with this project. And this man tells me I can't have shit that I paid for my tape because he need $12,000. Man. So I'm not even going to go to that story because it's a whole nother story. So now all I got is the writing assignment. So I had the writing assignment. I'm working for Master P. Movie deal, I get the Blade premiere. Blade premiere was dope. Went to that happened. But after that, everything goes downhill. So now I don't have the tape no more. I got ripped off. Now all I got, because the movie gig for Foolish was over. Working for Master P, that gig was over. So now all I got is the writing assignment. So the writing assignment was for an artist for one of KRS-One's artists. So this artist wanted a movie written for him because he envied the fact that Dub C from West Side Connect had a movie. So, a lot of these rappers were getting their own little solo movies. So he wanted one too. And so what they called it at the time was babysitting the artist, because they were in LA. They're not LA people, they from the East Coast. So they was out in LA, and they, to keep them busy and occupied, they try to get them whatever they want to do, and keep them busy. So he wanted a movie. So that's why I was brought in to LA to write him a movie. It was going to be a, Jamaican mafia flick. Yada, yada, yada. So all that other shit fell apart. I'm still a starving artist. I'm not making any money at this point. I was supposed to make 12 or 13,000 from writing the script for this artist. So we had our meetings or whatever, this, that, or third. We talked about money. I'm now having to go home or back to Arizona because I can no longer sustain myself. And we were starving artists. My manager at the time was starving artists himself. And he couldn't really afford, to feed this other grown-ass man in this apartment. Right? And I think he was sharing the apartment with a female who was cool as fuck. And so as not to burden him, I go to Arizona. And I still got this writing assignment. My wife at the time is pregnant with our daughter. My mama in my ear, she wants you to come home, So I go home to wait this last possibility out. So I'm writing this movie. I'm trying to contact dude now and say, yo, can I get an advance or, upfront payment on writing this movie, you know, I had to go back to Arizona and I might have to go get a job if I don't get any compensation for this project I'm doing for you. Oh, yeah, we're going to get you the money, da. Okay, about the script. So, you know, get the information on the script and still write. Weeks pass. I'm like, yo, can I get, you know? So that shit didn't happen, and I ended up having to go get a job, and that's how I became a flight attendant. And that's another story. But before that happened, while I was working for Master P, this is the other part of the story, working for Master P. I got a caveat, I got a bullet point right here, mystical. So working for Master P, I got to work on different music videos. One of them was Mystical's. All right, Mystical. I did the flight attendant. Oh, he yelled at me. Okay, so this is a funny incident working for Master P and my encounter with some of his artists. So we working on his music video. I can't remember what video it was. I couldn't tell you to save my life what music video it was. The production manager is Rusty Cundiff's wife. He wrote and directed the movie Sprung with, I think Tashina Arnold was in it, but Keisha Campbell, Joe Torre, and a couple other cats. So she was the production manager. So on any production that got a little bit of a budget, they got to feed you, you know. So they have a craft services. So that's somebody that makes the food and comes and feeds everybody, you know. And they had some money, so they had like a chef that cooked you the breakfast that you wanted, you know, did your eggs like you wanted, and all that little good shit. And for lunch, same thing. And also on the craft services table are vitamins. And at the time, you know, I'm working out, I'm healthy in the gym, big dude, and I'm taking vitamins. And at craft services, I'm taking all the vitamins. It was free. I'm on it, you know. So this one I learned about niacin, raw niacin. If those of you that know what niacin is, you know what the fuck I'm about to tell you. So at the craft services table, I'm popping pills like it's candy. I'm taking, you know, vitamins, just supplements, you know. It ain't gonna kill me, because why would they have it out here for everybody to take? It was gonna take me out. So I take these pills, I had me a little breakfast, did a little work, watching Mystical perform. Let me tell you something about Mystical. Dude was so dope in his performances, he was electrifying. That's why people love it. His performances were electrifying. Like his lip sync game in regards to, he didn't really lip sync, he spit the verses and shit during the video, which gave it even more energy. But to watch him through the monitors and while he was doing his shit, that shit had you just hyped, nigga. You know, it was just dope. So I watch a little performance, then I go and sit down and wait for, you know, them to give me my next assignment, because I'm a PA. I'm a driver and a PA while I'm working for Master P. So I'm sitting down, time is passing, maybe 15 minutes has passed. I ain't gonna say that, I wanna say 10 minutes has passed. I'm sitting on this chair, right? And the production manager is at the desk right here with some other people. And I'm sitting at this chair, then all of a sudden it started getting warm. It started getting warm. I'm hot and bothered. Then I started looking around to see if anybody else is just as hot as I am. Like, man, it's hot in here. Why is it? Now I'm starting to get like uncomfortably, noticeably like agitated, and I'm moving and I'm trying to, but ain't nobody else doing this shit. I'm the only one moving around and uncomfortable. Like, what the fuck is happening? Now I'm itching. Like, oh my God. Like, now it's really bad, you know? and then I'm telling them, like, yo, I think I'm having an allergic reaction to something. And I'm like, yo, they like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know, something's happening. So I don't know, I ate something, so they started looking at the table, see what I ate, asking the chef what I ate and what he cooked me. And Mystical comes in the room, he's like, what's wrong with you, Wody? I'm like, man, I don't know, I'm itching. He's like, man, maybe you're dirty, go take a bath. He cracking on a nigga, you know what I'm saying? I'm laughing and itching at the same time, like, nah, you know. I'm like thinking to myself, maybe I am, what the fuck? So Rusty's wife comes back from the craft services table laughing and shit. She's like, did you take some of these? I got this damn pimple right here killing me. Did you take some of this? I'm like, what is it? She said, niacin. I was like, maybe, I don't know. I don't even know what that is. She said, this is raw niacin. And she showed it to me. I was like, yep, I took some of that. She said, how many did you take? And I took 2 of everything on the table. I took 2 of everything. So I took 2 raw niacin pills. So I said 2. She looked at it. She said, this is raw niacin. You took 2 of them. You know, especially if you've never taken them, you're only supposed to take maybe half a pill. And that's with something. You took 2, she said, buckle up. Oh my God. Oh my God, that shit was so horrible. I just had to ride the way. I had to ride it out, man. There was nothing they could do for me. And the killer part about it is when I ended up having to go back to Arizona and get a job, I became a flight attendant. And one of the requirements for being a flight attendant, because I was smoking weed. I was smoking weed, definitely. And one of the, you had to take a piss test. And I had been smoking weed the week prior to going to the damn interview to be a flight attendant. And I was nervous. I went to the stove trying to do but that niacin, I didn't really know about niacin. Niacin cleans your blood. I took 2 raw pills. I became a flight attendant. I passed that piss test. So inadvertently, it got me another job, taking that raw niacin on the set. And that's how I became a flight attendant. That's another story. The writing job that I had, remember I had the writing gig, worked for Master P, went to the Blade premiere, I had 3.5 milli. All that shit fell apart. I didn't get any money for the writing gig. I started the script and I used the script in something else and I can't remember what it was. Maybe a video or something. I used it for something, a movie or something. I'm gonna tell you what it is right now. Dare to Compete. No, not Dare to Compete. Love Will Make It Right. I used, because I was so mad that I wrote that shit and didn't get paid for it, I used what I wrote for that movie, that project that I was supposed to write for that rapper. I used it in Breaking the Cycle. I used it because one of the characters became an actor, and I used it as a scene in the script. Yeah. I had all that shit going, man, and all that shit left just as fast as it came. I quit my job. I got a job as a maintenance man in 96 of July, quit in 97 of July, started working for Master P, had all that other shit happen in 97, and became a flight attendant in 98. Became a flight attendant in 98. That shit crazy. That shit crazy. And on that note, that's my story about working for Master P. I want to thank y'all for hanging out, engaging me, and me running my mouth about the business. Sorry we didn't get to making music. We're going to do it eventually. I still got that beat that we were working on the last show, so we'll get back to it. We'll get to it. And if you got any questions about particular things in music, DAWs, how to record, what to record, and how you sound, or you want somebody to review your music or whatever, let me know. Leave me a comment. Let me know. Message me, etc., etc. And thank you for your support. You want to donate? This is what I do. I appreciate it. Every penny is going to go back in recycling to get me out there in regards to music and the like. Again, thank you for your support, time, and make sure you out there making the dream happen for yourself. Every day, do something towards your goal. Every day be working towards it. I'm gonna go ahead and end this with Trojan Horse. It's a weed song. Go on, put one in the air for your boy. My name is Rawlz, and I'm out. Let me tell you something.
You can tell them haters that I'm coming. It might be too late for y'all to run. Cash flow champagne, cause I'm in the game now. Whatever it is. You can tell them haters that I'm coming. It might be too late for y'all to run. Cash flow champagne, cause I'm in the game now. Whatever it is.
I gotta slide on in, this shit like double dutch. This like my third, fourth pen, I got arthritis. But spite this, I'ma add this, might this, touching on these subjects. Even though they smite us, fight us is unknowingly how they unite us. Knowing that we bleed, we bite, trust, we fight, bust, cuss. Love we must unlock our potential, elevate your mental. Why so judgmental? If we switch places, you go mental. Not knowing your history and its full potential. Knowing all along, you were instrumental. We been knew what we lent you, and it's sinful. This the shit I be thinking, are we high, yo?
You can tell them haters that I'm coming. It might be too late for y'all to run. Cash flow champagne, cause I'm in the game now. Whatever it is.
Now mellow down, let me dig back in. I'ma keep it real, like Chucky to the end. Gon' hit this gelato, or this OG pen. I got this Josie Wells, they had the 2 for 10. Didn't know this is a weed song, had to draw you in. I won't judge you, but please pass the blunt, you stuck again. I'm still at it, so I'm gon' represent it. Pay attention to me, cause these lessons lived it.
You can tell them haters that I'm coming. It might be too late for y'all to run. Cash flow champagne, cause I'm in the game now. Whatever it is.
Let me tell you something.
You can tell them haters that I'm coming. It might be too late for y'all to run. Cash flow champagne, cause I'm in the game now. Whatever it is.
Let me tell you something.
You can tell them haters that I'm coming. It might be too late for y'all to run. Cash flow champagne, cause I'm in the game now. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's it. We out.